This is volumes 1 to about 83, I think, of One Piece. Yeah, this is the Japanese version, which are actually thinner than the Viz ones, and they take up a lot of space. Hello and welcome to That Man. That is me merchandise, and today I want to talk to you guys about why I don't collect shonen manga. Well, to be more accurate, why I don't collect long-running shonen manga. Now, most of you are already aware that I already have a full collection of iShield 21, and I did collect a lot of the Japanese volumes of One Piece, and they take up a lot of space. At the moment, currently, I am only really collecting one, and that is Dr. Stone, which I've got volumes 1 to 5 of, which you can already see. Just for 5 volumes, that's quite a bit of space. And I've also got in my collection volumes 1 to 3 of Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer. Both of them are absolutely great series, and I'm not here to say that Shonen Jump manga are bad. But they are bad for your shelves. Kind of. Now, if you only read shonen manga, or if you absolutely adore the series, that you feel that you absolutely need to have them, and you've got tons of space, I don't, then by all means pick up shonen manga. Personally, I've stopped. The reason being is that there is a lot of manga out there, and a lot of my collections, I'm starting to buy stuff that isn't necessarily Shonen Jump. For example, I have volumes 1 to 14 and the 4 spin-offs of Monster Musume. That's 18 volumes. That takes up about that much on my shelf. I've got a lot of other series that's ongoing. I've got Prison School and Overlord, both of which are kind of like taking up an entire segment of my shelving unit. In fact, I'll show you, in terms of this, it's like literally from there to there, that's all Overlord and Prison School. That is a lot of space. Now, personally, I'm kind of at the point where I'm having to pick between figure space or book space, and £100 figure is going to go a lot more than a 5-10 quid manga volume, unfortunately. So yeah, this is something that I kind of want people to realise when they start collecting manga, and it goes back to stuff I've said in the past where people have just been like, one of the first things they'll do is they'll buy a box set of One Piece, for example. If you're already collecting manga, then I'm kind of like, yeah, that's a little bit better. You probably have already worked out the dimensions. For example, one set of One Piece is 24 volumes, I believe, on 92 volumes, so you're going to have enough space for at least 3 more of them, probably 4 or 5 more of them once it actually gets finished. There's no way that's finishing in maybe another 30 volumes, possibly. But yeah, but once I kind of realised that the long-run shonen manga is going to take up a hell of a lot of space on my shelf, I kind of realised that maybe I don't really need to collect them. And I'm not going to lie, I absolutely love shonen manga. Dr. Stone is one I've constantly spoke of. I've got the collection of iShield 21, that's volumes 1 to 37. That actually takes up a chunk of my space for manga. I could get rid of that and I could probably buy about 3 new series. And I love Kimetsu no Yaiba, I really wanted to start collecting that. And Promised Neverland, another one, I really wanted to buy that. And My Hero Academia Vigilantes, I actually started buying My Hero Academia originally, and I kind of fizzled out. Assassination Classroom, I would love to have all of them. Bakuman, I don't know if I've still got them, but at least I had the entire set of that, and that was 20 volumes. And I quickly realised that my shelf space was limited to about 3 or 4 series, and I was just like, no, I've wanted a little bit more of a diverse collection than that. And that was one of the deciding factors in why I stopped buying Shonen Jump physical manga. The other reason was, well, the Shonen Jump manga came out, the manga app. So I've got literally all of One Piece, I've got all of Dr. Stone, I've all got Kimetsu no Yaiba, I've got all of Food Wars, My Hero Academia, everything all at my fingertips. So I kind of thought, well, if I'm going to collect manga, why collect manga of stuff that I've already got digitally and it's going to take up a lot of space, or I could buy stuff that doesn't necessarily have a digital release, or perhaps has a nicer release. Stuff like the Gundam volumes, 20th Century Boys is what I've got my eye on. Overlord, that is a thick book. In this corner of the world, off the top of my head, there's a lot of series where they have really nice omnibus editions, whereas the Shonen Jump ones, they're nice, but I got them all in here. And it's not that I dislike shonen at all. I love shonen. In fact, shonen's probably the most thing I read. But I kind of realised that to have a collection, I personally pick to have a varied collection of stuff that I might not see particularly as often, or stuff that I can't really just access as easy as just 2 clicks on my tablet. And that's why I kind of, one of the big reasons why I just was like, no, I don't need to buy shonen manga as much. So yeah, basically space and, well, it's all digitally. And I'm not getting at people who want to collect shonen manga. It's your choice. I just kind of, that was one of the things I kind of wanted to discuss, because I was like, people are like, well, but when I've had people look at my collection and stuff like that, most people are like, oh, that's a nice collection. And other people are like, well, you don't have Tokyo Ghoul, you don't have One Piece, you don't have My Hero Academia. I was just like, well, I've kind of got One Piece here. But I was like, I don't need them as a collection. I don't particularly want to prioritise them, because while I like My Hero Academia, it's nowhere near one of my favourite series that I feel I need to dedicate a shelf to. I'd rather have that towards, at the end of the day, for My Hero Academia is on 19 English volumes at the moment. I'm expecting it to have at least 40 volumes by the time it's finished, unless it gets proper dragged on. That's a discussion for another video. But then I was kind of like, well, if we say 40 volumes, that the equivalent is all of my Monster Musume, all of my Watamote, and all of my, actually it's both my Konosuba and 2 or 3 other light novel series. That's a big variety compared to 40 volumes where it's of one series. There's one series I'm enjoying, but I don't, yeah. The other one for me was kind of Food Wars. That was the one I started buying. I think I bought the first 15 volumes of it. And the issue I had was getting rid of them. People wanted volume 1, but they didn't really want to pay for 15 volumes, especially when I had to ship them all out. The shipping, I think, was, I even sold them for next to nothing. This has happened, it happened with my Food War. It happened a long time ago with Dragon Ball as well. I had all of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and I sold them. And I sold them, I was like, oh, well, what I'll do is, I'll sell them for like £1 a volume or something like that. And people were like, yeah, brilliant, I'll take it. And it's like, will you deliver it? I was like, well, you live in Nottingham, so no. That would cost me a lot more than you'd be giving us. I can potentially ship it out. Oh, brilliant, yeah. And this was on eBay. This was a lot, and I think, no, it wasn't eBay. No, I did it privately, and I was like, well, what I'll do is I'll work out how much it is. And the shipping alone, I think, was about, I can't remember if it was 20 or 30 quid. It was a lot, and then they just went and went, I'm not paying 30 quid for ship it. And I was just like, that. They were like, it's 45 quid for the whole thing. It was like 15 quid or whatever it was for the Dragon Ball by itself. I was like, that's how much shipping costs. I was like, I'm not making any money on it. And at one point, I literally, for the rest of, after this is like Bleach and stuff like this, because Bleach I had 25 volumes, I literally had to say you pay for shipping because I couldn't shift them. Bakuman and I think something else I managed to donate to a library, which was that was a good way of me getting rid of complete sets. I think Hunter x Hunter was another one I donated to the library, because I had like 20 volumes on it. I was like, nobody wanted to buy 20 volumes of it. They were like, either they didn't have enough space or they only wanted like 3 or 4 volumes. I'm like, I don't want to split them. If you start splitting them when you're selling them, you're not going to get the whole thing back. You're going to be stuck with odd volumes. But yeah, that was another thing that really put me off. I was just like, at this point I'm looking at my shelf and I'm like, can I cut back on this? Can I cut back on that? Like stuff like Kimetsu no Yaiba is actually stuff I'm actually wanting to sell because I've got 3 volumes. I don't really need to get any more volumes. Dr. Stone, I'm loving it enough that I kind of want to collect them, but at some point if it gets to too many volumes I might consider selling them. And it's kind of like selling manga is a pain for me. It's really difficult because not many people locally want to collect it, and shipping them kind of puts them on equal prices buying them brand new. It's just one of those things. Yeah, so I've talked quite a bit of length at this, so yeah, that was just a few reasons why I don't collect shonen manga. I love shonen manga, but for me there's too many variables. There's too many reasons why for me to not buy them physically, and like I said, they're all on here, or if I want to buy them I'm more than happy to pay 3 or 4 quid on Comixology because they're quite often on sale. It's just one of those things. I kind of feel like a lot of people when they buy new manga or they start collecting, they're just like, I want to have a full collection of these and stuff like that, and it's just like, yeah, knock yourself out, but just be aware that you'll run out of space quite quickly. I know one person where they they started collecting manga. They lived with their parents, they only had a small box room, and then they were kind of like smaller straight away. They were like, I've got 2 box sets of One Piece, I don't have space for anything else. I'm now stuck with One Piece as my only thing I can collect. That's an extreme case, but yeah. But let me know what you guys think about collecting long running shonen manga. Is it something that you prioritise over everything else, or is it something that you have kind of moved down on once the Shonen Jump app came out? That kind of stint your idea of collecting the physical versions of the Shonen Jump manga? Let me know in the comments, and if you did enjoy this, thank you for coming. Thanks again for staying. Potentially consider subscribing. We've got other tips, other little rants of stuff that I've done where I've kind of said, think before you buy, or this isn't potentially what your collection needs to be. Try thinking outside of the box and think long term rather than short term when it comes to collecting your manga. Thank you for coming, and thanks again for staying. Goodbye.